So when you get in an auto accident and you're injured, you will no doubt have medical treatment and medical expense. And there's a number of insurance types that are available to pay for that expense. You've got health insurance, which most people are familiar with, and then there's another potential insurance source which is called MedPay, and it stands for medical payments, and it's obtained through your auto insurance. And I will get into the ins and outs of that later, but I wanted to first start with the health insurance. Everyone, or virtually everyone, is familiar with the concept of health insurance. It covers medical expense for a number of reasons. It could be an emergency visit, it can be going for a flu shot, or just going to an annual physical. Your health insurance is going to cover, in most instances, that treatment and a number of other treatment that is available to you. When it comes to an auto accident, your health insurance will no doubt be available to pay for emergency room bill, MRIs, x-rays, follow-up treatment, going to the chiropractor, perhaps physical therapy, a number of treatments that you will receive as a result of this accident. So when you receive that treatment and it's billed to your health insurance, the healthcare providers will no doubt have a contract with the health insurance company for your health insurance provider to pay a reduced amount. So the bill comes in, health insurance company determines what it's going to pay, pays that reduced amount. The rest of it may get adjusted down, may get written off, the patient may owe a portion of it, but the important thing is health insurance is going to pay a fraction of what the actual billed amount is. So if you happen to have a personal injury case and you settle that case with the other driver's insurance company, any bills your health insurance pays will be subject to subrogation. Your health insurance company will have a right to be reimbursed from the personal injury settlement. But the important thing to note is that the health insurance will be reimbursed, or will be entitled to reimbursement for the amount it paid and not the full bill amount. So that's a reduced amount, and it could be beneficial to you. And a lot of times health insurance companies are even willing to reduce their reimbursement down even further. No doubt the other driver's liability insurance will know that the health insurance paid less, but it's certainly a factor to consider, and it certainly may help out an injured driver maximize the value of their in-pocket settlement. Or I should say, another source of insurance coverage for medical expense resulting from an auto accident is the MedPay that I mentioned before. And you would obtain this through your own automobile insurance, and it basically covers medical expense resulting from an auto accident. It's not mandatory under Ohio law, it's completely optional coverage. And MedPay, it's not an unlimited source to pay your medical expense. There's always going to be a limit for the policy. I've seen some that are as low as $1,000. I've seen some MedPay policies that have up to $50,000 worth of coverage. And again, your healthcare provider, the doctor, the hospital, could bill the MedPay provider. But the one thing that's different between MedPay and health insurance is MedPay is going to pay the full bill amount. They don't have that contract with the healthcare providers to pay a reduced amount, get it adjusted. They're going to pay that full amount. And so that means it's possible your MedPay provider will have a right of subrogation as well to be reimbursed from any personal injury settlement. But a big difference between MedPay and the healthcare is the only way MedPay has a right of reimbursement is if the policy itself says MedPay has a right to be reimbursed. Now, virtually every MedPay policy nowadays has that language that says the insurance company has that right to be reimbursed from a personal injury settlement. But there are a few policies out there that don't have that language. So, the disadvantage of having the MedPay subrogation is it's that full bill amount compared to the healthcare or the health insurance that has the reduced payment. MedPay usually is willing to take a reduction on what it paid, but it's still that full billed amount that MedPay is paying, and that it may have a right to subrogation for that. So the question is, if you are in a car accident and you have both health insurance and MedPay coverage, which policy should you use to pay your medical expense? In reality, it's probably going to be a combination of both. But my firm in general advises clients to submit bills to health insurance first, because the health insurance provider is going to pay that reduced amount. So that reduced amount is going to be the amount for reimbursement to the healthcare provider, whereas MedPay is probably going to be paying that full billed amount. The really main exception would be is if your policy happens to be one of those where MedPay doesn't have a right to reimbursement. The key thing is, each insurance policy is different, each case is different, so you really can't have a blanket policy on which insurance you should submit your bills to. But my firm, that's something we handle frequently, and we help our clients work with the insurance companies to pay the subrogation liens and figure out which insurance should be billed to pay that medical expense.